Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to looking at me and Gulam having approximately probably about 4 hours sleep over the last 3 days, and we are
5 hours.
I'm going to try and release this on the Monday evening. Try and do it tonight when we do this. Try and get it out there so you guys to see, and we will do that probably today. If not, and I fall asleep, it'll probably be done tomorrow on Tuesday. But bearing in mind, I will try and get this out as soon as we can. So, what we're going to be discussing is night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania. What we're going to do is we're not going to go too much into detail of things because you've probably heard it. If you follow us on Twitter, both of us, and you follow us on Instagram, you will see our reactions to what's going on through that. What we will do is a brief overview of all of it, what our main talking points were, what we thought would happen, what actually happened, and Hulk Hogan dressed up as a pirate. Dear God. So what we're going to be doing is go through night 1, night 2, do night 1 first, go through most of the matches and go through it, pick our outstanding, what we thought, have a little chat about each match. We'll do night 2, and then next week, what we're going to be doing is do a review of the week of what's happened post-Mania, but we're also going to be doing what we think will happen throughout the year, who we think could be coming back, who we think will be surprises, where we see we're going, and maybe what we will do, maybe not next week, on the week after, we will do our fantasy booking of WrestleMania 38, where we will sit down and we will see how many we will get right at WrestleMania 38. See how many we get. But we're just gonna do a little bit of fun episode with that. I am also talking to maybe doing a one-off special with a UK indie wrestler who has expressed about doing podcasts. He did it over Facebook. I got tagged in it. Someone wanted us to talk to him, and I've been talking to him, and we're just going to find the time. I did say maybe next week I will get to him. It'd probably just be myself or both of us that will ask him questions, or just me. All depends on times and schedules and all this and all that. But if Gulam's not there, what I'll do is I will get him to send me questions, and I will ask him it. So we're doing that. So we've got that. We have a new show in the works. I am building a new show from the ground up. It's a part of the Robbos Gobcast podcasting area, or whatever we call this service, whatever we do it. It's part of it, but it's completely different. I'm not going to say any more about it. We're close to getting most of the stuff done. It's going to be a few months, I think, until we fully get it done. But that will be done. Right. As you remember, down below in the description is a link to all of our social media pages. Go down below and click on that. Go give us a follow, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And don't forget, please go and hit that thumbs up button, because that will get more people to see our videos as well. So let's get into, can I just say, right, and this is going to sound a bit weird, opening of WrestleMania, Vince McMahon open it up, and let's be honest, nice to see that him. We don't get to see him that often. I used to love the Vince McMahon character and what he portrayed and what he did, and what he does as well. He gets a lot of stick, and rightly or wrongly so. But the man is an absolute genius. Of what he did with with the Broken Skull Ranch with Chris Jericho. By the way, that will be on next week's episode. We will discuss
I
that.
haven't watched it yet.
Have you watched it?
I haven't watched it. I'll probably catch you after.
Yeah, so I've watched it. So we will do that next week's episode and discuss that and what we thought of that and how very interesting. If you haven't gone and seen it yet, go on the WWE Network, or if you're in America watching this, go on Peacock and go and subscribe and follow and do all that good stuff over there. Right, night 1, Vince McMahon opens up. Everyone's crying. Everyone's happy to see fans back. All the wrestlers are excited. We kick off with a Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Business versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE World Heavyweight. Did you like that, by the way?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's close enough.
It was good. I'll take that. For the WWE Championship, the predictions. I tell you what, it got interesting after night 1, and then got disappointing in night 2. But the predictions,
That's what I was going to say as well. I mean, I think night 2. I feel like night 2 was basically okay. Let's put it this way: night 1 was the best. I think that really like impressed everyone. I feel like night 2 had expectations to live up to, and it just never quite really, reached it. Simply put it. So,
the interesting thing with night, we'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later on. Night 1, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre. We both had Bobby Lashley winning, but I was very close to changing my mind. I watched the promo with the rain delay, that the spontaneous promo that Drew McIntyre did, where it was off the cuff. He had to do what he felt and what he said. And I was watching the build up, and it got to a point where I was like, I really want Drew to win this. I think it's good for Bobby, but the issue with Bobby Lashley, okay, and this is my only issue with Bobby Lashley, is when MVP's not there, it doesn't bring anything. That's
I mean,
and let's be honest. Is it the Hurt Lock? Chris Masters, the masterpiece they used to call it. It's called the Hurt Lock now, isn't it? I think with Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, Hurt Lock, yeah.
That and the End of Days have got to be the most protected finisher in WWE right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that as well. I had this discussion with one of my followers on Twitter the other day as well, and he was just like, "This is the one topic me and you, like, we won't be able to agree on." And you basically say what you said, that he doesn't, like, Lashley just doesn't have the promo skills to carry himself. And I said I agree. I agree with you there. But the thing is, though, it's like Lesnar. Lesnar never. Well, he can talk when he's in it.
Yeah, but Lesnar can talk and say a promo when he's needed to, and he has to.
Yeah, but the thing is, though,
things more powerful. He does it. When Bobby Lashley does it, I go.
No, but the thing I'm trying to say with Brock is that Brock's voice just doesn't do it for me. He just sounds. I've always said it before. He sounds like a pubescent child trying to talk. Prepubescent child.
I really would love you to say that in front of him, by the way.
Man, I'll probably say it.
I wouldn't even get near like 6 feet, and that was even before COVID.
I'll probably say it, but I'll take my wallet out and I'll put that on the floor first, and then I'll say it, and then whatever happens.
I would run. I would run while I'm saying it. That's basically. So look, I think if we're gonna get if we get to the nooks and crannies of the match, extremely good match. The build up to the finish was Bobby Lashley's Hurt Lock, bringing it in. That was very protected. They built that up, but I think the crowd really. And I was reading the tweets with people that were in the crowd, and they said that Hurt Lock, every time that Bobby went to go and do it, was getting a big reaction from the crowd, and that's what they were building in that match to do. I think everything was excellent. Okay, that. Up until the end, and not because Drew McIntyre lost, was how does Drew McIntyre get distracted from MVP just shouting Drew like that? That's basically Drew wouldn't do that. That's a very cheap ass way of losing.
No, I mean,
if Shelton Benjamin or Cedric Alexander come out, jumped on the ring apron, and Drew did something, then yeah, I get that. I'd understand that. But that was a very poor ending, I thought, to that.
I think when I didn't realize you said that. I thought something else. But yeah, I think it's really like when you said that. I remember he did the same thing on Raw. So I think it's just because when he was facing Corbin, I think it was just another really just a play on that again. If that makes sense. But even they didn't distract him then. So I don't know. I think it's just like one of those things. It's hard to say, but I just think it might have just been like one of those things where they can turn around, make it like that. Drew got just called out for a second in the heat of the moment.
I just didn't really understand the finish. I get Bobby Lashley winning. I'm more disappointed that Drew McIntyre still hasn't won a title in front of a crowd. That was
what happened. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. I hope that it happens when it's a full crowd.
The way I see it,
then that.
the way I see it, it's the right way to go because it keeps Drew relevant. It doesn't mean like people can't argue, oh, he's winning every match he's in because
Mm.
you clearly saw he's not,
Mm.
and it gives him a more consistent
Yeah.
win-loss record as well, which is what we want to see because people had this problem with Roman when he was constantly winning. So
It's interesting as well because I think one of the things that we could take away from the ending of that match before we get into the next one is Drew McIntyre never tapped out. He passed out.
exactly, yeah.
And
I
that's
think
one of the things I think not only does it play into Drew's hands of the point, it protects both of them. It protects how good that finisher is by making Drew McIntyre pass out, but it also protects Drew McIntyre because he never tapped out. So I think it's a win-win for both of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I do remember when Drew was undefeated for like a year and a bit, and I was just like, that would have been the perfect time to make him a champion around that time. I feel like, it's one of those things where I feel like they always seem to miss out the opportunity to, keep it going and undefeated streak for a bit, and it's just like what I'm trying to say is that I feel, but I'll put it this way: if they kept him undefeated and they gave him the title that way, then people will still complain. Put it simply as. Because they'll be like, oh, it's just they're trying to keep him protected and all that. It doesn't work that way. It needs to be believed. I'm just like, I don't see anything wrong with being undefeated. If you don't have a problem with Asuka being undefeated, how can you have a problem with Drew McIntyre being undefeated? How can you have a problem with Brock Lesnar being undefeated? How can you have a problem with Roman Reigns being undefeated? That's what I'm trying to say.
It's interesting. I'm interested to
I,
see
I
where they
think I
go
say
from
this.
here as well.
I say this all the time. I think people pick and choose when they want to hate on someone. Sometimes that's the way I
Yeah,
look.
they're very fickle. Just like the Reading fans, very fucking fickle.
Oh yeah, you tell me that. You can say that again, mate.
Oh, 100%. They're fucking useless sometimes. So let's get into the next match of the night. The next match on my list, we might not go in order because I can't remember the order, but we'll go into some sort of way. The next match I have on my list is one that I really want to talk about: Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. I tell you
Yeah,
what.
Karen.
I tell you what. Seth Rollins is the best wrestler in the world. I don't care what anyone tells me. And he may win, lose, do whatever. But every time that man steps foot in the ring, we know that it's going to be magic. And to me, in my opinion, if you know that a wrestler, when he steps foot into a ring, is going to be magic, and you know something special is going to happen, then my honest opinion is, and Cesaro as well, we know that he's got that big. He's never had a singles match at WrestleMania, which I found astounding when I saw that stat when they were talking about it. Never had a singles match at WrestleMania going into this. And we know that he is and could be a very, very big player in SmackDown or Raw, depending on what goes on. But he's never done it on the big stage, and he's never had that big match feel. Could he get nervous? Is there something in him that won't let him do it? Is there that big thing over him? I tell you what, and I'll tell you my piece, and then I'll let you go into your bit. I think that was hands down the best Cesaro singles match he's ever had in WWE.
I was gonna say, it's funny you say that. You put Seth as one of the best in the world because I've always thought of Seth as one of the top performers of that they have in the that was going around as well. I think I'm starting to flood my words now. What I'm trying to say is I've always thought of Seth as one of the top performers. Even from his Shield days, you could see that he could. He wasn't just a high flyer. People used to say he was the high flyer of the Shield, which is true. He did a lot of jumping and shit, but he wasn't always just doing that. As far as Cesaro goes, I always say about Cesaro. I've always thought of him as underrated and underutilized. And I feel like in this match, he really got to turn around and say, "This is a guy you've held back for years," and he got to show, what he can do. I mean, people forget Seth and Cesaro go back, go way back. They know each other from, even before Ring of Honor. Seth said he saw him indie show once or twice. I think going into this match, it was very well done, the story. I mean, I will say that I hate to. I know I say this all the time, but I remember good old Corny said in one of his said in his podcast was that why are they fighting again? And even I was kind of like, yeah, why are they fighting again? Because all I remember was it just started over, Cesaro not, joining his vision, and so did not a lot of other people. So one day, I mean, so I think that there wasn't really a good reason for them to fight on that basis. But that said, I feel like they took a small thing and managed to make it into somewhat of a big deal, and it gave both of them something to work with. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, I completely agree. And I agree. And I think Cesaro picking up the win that we both predicted would happen was the right thing to do.
What I will say though is that I do feel like a part of me just wonders what it could have been like if it was for a title. It doesn't have to be even a big title, just a title. Imagine how much more of big difference that could have made as well.
I don't think it would have been. I don't think it would have
know.
been. I think the only way you're now going to get Cesaro over with everyone more than what he already is he needs that world title. No point putting an IC title on him. No point putting the US title on him. No point putting the tag titles on him. The only title that he should be wearing now, or the next title he should win, is the Universal or WWE Championship.
What's funny is I remember there used to be a time I used to say I would, if a dream thing for me would be for Cesaro to be European champion. Remember that title? And to give him the big gold belt as well, like have him hold those two titles.
Wasn't that in William Regal?
Yeah, William Regal. Yeah. I think Malenko held it as well.
A few people held that. Christian held it at one point as well.
It's funny. At the time they didn't have that. Yeah, I'm saying at the time they didn't have that many European people. Now they have so many more. It's like crazy. They should really as well. To be honest, I've always thought that they should really bring an NXT European Championship thing, as they have one of in the UK, and it just makes more sense when you got quite.
I think they'll probably bring that back in the NXT UK, like they did for the North American title for NXT.
It's a smart move.
I assume that they would probably do that for NXT UK, which, by the way, is gaining momentum, and I'm loving it.
I heard about it.
Gaining a lot of momentum, and I'm extremely loving it. Next match we're going to go on to. I want to talk about this. We didn't discuss it that much on the preview, because of the build-up was fucking atrocious. Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. Steel cage match. Storyline. I get it. I get the storyline. I get the story. Look. I shit on the storyline quite a lot, and rightfully so to a certain point. And then I looked at the video package of why Strowman is upset and doing it. And when he said that when he was at school, he had learning difficulties, he struggled, people picked on him, blah, blah, blah. And that hit home quite a lot with myself.
I suppose it has that connection with people as well. Because don't forget, they are aiming at a family audience, so they want to.
Yeah, and for me, that really hit me, because that's the thing that I went through when I was at school. So I got that, and I understood why this match started happening. Look, the build-up of what Shane was doing was terrible, and the build-up of the choo-choo train, the Thomas the Tank Engine sound effects with Braun Strowman is not a great idea.
What you call Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, but the match itself, I'll tell you what, it was an excellent match.
I wouldn't say it was excellent. I mean, I think I wasn't. I'll be. What makes you happy?
That made me happy.
I'll be fair. Like, I wasn't in tune with it for like the first, maybe 20 minutes of it, and then what it is that I think that got me back interested as well is when Braun was just working more like the monster he was back in 2018. And just wrecking shit up. I think that's what was missing for some time, because I don't think he did that when he was against Bray Wyatt.
No. So the thing that really got me was, we all know Shane McMahon is a 50-something year old man.
He's 50 now, yeah. I think.
That is a billionaire and doesn't need to do anything. Okay, we can all agree on that. But what he does is he comes back every WrestleMania to give entertainment to us for us to enjoy. And what he did in that match at the end of that match, and I don't know whether you thought this, but I definitely thought this, was when it finished, I went, Braun Strowman's back. This is the monster. Like what you just said, was the monster side. But this is the man that I've been waiting for a very long time. The bit that really got me, and I think was the perfect spot, was when Shane was climbing out that cage, going down, saying bye bye, bye bye. It gets all the way down, and then Strowman grabs him, but then fucking rips the cage open. And I went, when I saw that, I went, yes.
I'm going to be a bit honest with you. I thought that was a bit silly, because not silly, but it's just like when he put his hand through it, I was like, you could have just easily just gone through that. You could have easily just dropped down. So,
Yes.
I mean, it's just.
But then you got to think about this. So when people say that, and that statement slightly annoys me to a point, because if you think about the story to it, is Shane is the show-off, braggy one, wants to rub it in everyone's face, wants to do it. So while he's going down, he's showing off. He's doing the old egotistical stuff. Yeah, I'm better than you. Look where I am. I'm better than you. Blah 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 blah. You're not going to do anything. Rips the cage open, brings him in, throws him off the fucking.
I know that. I get that part, but it was just that thing. I was just like, oh yeah, we know he's gonna. That's the thing that cost him next. And somehow Braun. What I liked about Braun was that he leaped up like a cruiserweight right onto the thing, and he just took him down. And I thought that was I thought it was smart that he did that way.
I thought the match was very, very smart. The way that they threw Shane off the top of the cage. There are people complaining that he didn't climb out of the cage. It's like, why would he climb out? He wants to suffer more punishment to someone that has been bullying and tormenting him. You want to inflict that final big damage on that person to end it. And I completely agree. And I completely thought the ending to that match was great.
Imagine if Braun did a power slam from the top.
Do you know what? I thought that's what he was doing. When he picked Shane McMahon up and he got him up and he was holding him, I went, oh, okay, this is someone's going to die. And then he threw him off. I went, okay, that's better.
Can you imagine? The thing is, you say people think that's not possible. People forget that 2 years ago, we saw, Shane get a suplex from The Miz off the freaking balcony, where it was. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So
that was at WrestleMania, wasn't it? That was at WrestleMania as well, wasn't it?
I think it was. Yeah, it was.
That was that Falls Count Everywhere, where it literally went everywhere.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
So my point is that, like, imagine if they, I think Shane. I don't. You said a second ago, Shane's a very rich kid and all that. I think he's got his insurance must be very covered. See what shit he does.
Fucking needs to be. Right, let's go to the next one. I want to go. I really want to talk about this one. I really want to talk about this one. I really want to actually, not this one. This one and the next one. I'm really excited about the two. We got 3 more matches left on night one. The next one, the New Day versus AJ Styles and my. Okay, I'm going to say this now. My top 5 favorite wrestler at the moment, Omos. I come down to that, right? Do you know what made me laugh, right? And I know you weren't watching it live, so I didn't tag you or anything in it. But on night one, what made me laugh was, I think I remember you saying last week you would love it if he come down to the ring, didn't change his attire or anything, still wore that gold chain and a shirt and all this like that. And when he was walking down to the ring, and he looked like he was wearing a shirt, a gold chain, and the jacket. I went, Gulam knew what was going on. He's gonna fucking love that bit. Do you know what I thought was very?
I even said that.
I know. Do you know what really got me in that match was the way they built to Omos. Okay, we all knew that he was going to come in, but I think 90% of people thought when he come in, he's going to do 1-2 moves, powerbomb, done. I think that was a lot of the senses I was getting, but I did tell a lot of people on Twitter as well, I expect him to do quite a bit in that ring. And I was not disappointed at all.
I feel people forget that. This is the thing I have to say. I think people are way too used to guys doing backflips and jumping around and shit. I'm just like, you're forgetting one thing. They're not supposed to do that to begin with. They need to work like the way they're supposed to, which is work like a giant, like a friggin' monster, just run the guy down. They're not... The aim isn't to, people forget that when they do that, they're taking years off their career, doing shit like that.
Well, Shane McMahon, I don't know how long he's got left.
Yeah, but Shane's not a giant.
No, but Shane just fucking flings himself fucking everywhere.
Shane's a different anomaly of human. That we're not going to get to that one.
Shane is just a fucking different
We
breed of human.
we need to clone that.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to say with Omos is that he's he to me he's the old school
AEW
giant.
a bit better.
Pardon me.
Sorry. When you say clone Shane McMahon and get more wrestlers like him, my first instinct went it might make AEW a bit better to watch. Anyway, carry on.
Oh god. Yeah. What I'm saying is that Omos to me is like the old school, giant. His bit,
Yeah.
he works the way a giant should work, and I feel like the way they presented him was the perfect way. I remember, as you said, they kept him on the apron, waiting to get tagged in, the smart way, and they did it the right way. Because, okay, what I would have done was I would have had him just run in there and just wreck shit up, like a monster. What the New Day done was they tried separating. I remember, Xavier knows him out.
So this AJ, you're not a tag team wrestler, but this is called cutting off the ring. Means you can't get to Omos. I'm just letting you know he was on fire, by the way. Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston.
Yeah. And obviously they did the right thing, trying to keep AJ from tagging in, his partner in. And what that did was it just got people, more and more anxious to see what's going to happen next, because it's like when you're watching a movie, you don't get to the good stuff straight away. You just give them a taste of it, and you build up, and you keep building up. Freaking, that's the way Steven Spielberg did it with Jaws. So that's what you're gonna do over here. And they did it the right way. And I tweeted it as well as soon as he got tagged in. I was like, he's coming in now like a pissed off Tyrannosaurus Rex.
I did see that. That did pop me a bit when I saw that. I did pop a bit when I saw you be there. Look, Omos for me really showed that he is going to be a massive star in WWE. It all depends on that. And do you know what I really liked as well was when they did a tag team maneuver together, it felt powerful. Like when he jumped on top of Omos's shoulders and then did the phenomenal forearm. That felt powerful. The finish and everything about that just felt like it was meant to happen. It was anticipated. He knew in his brain that this was if Kofi does this or Xavier does this, I'm going to power them with this. And that was something that I really, really liked.
I like the way that, I don't know if you remember for weeks, whenever the way they were building up the interest around him, they'd have him whenever he was at ringside, the guy's lying on the floor, you get a close up of the guy on the floor, then you see his boot next to him. And it's like something you see in Jurassic Park or in a horror film, it's like the monster's right, right there. I think that was a bit, cleverly done, because it's that old school stuff we don't see anymore these days, you know what I mean?
No, I completely agree. And I think it was an excellent way of them winning the titles. Great AJ Styles, I said on last week on the preview that if AJ Styles won, he would become the Grand Slam champion, which is phenomenal. Pun intended, wasn't intentional, but it come out very well. Which I find this just shows how good how he and I saw someone say this. I don't know who said it. I think it might have been JBL or someone on the Kickoff show, but they said that AJ Styles is the modern day Shawn Michaels, and I tell you what, they are correct.
Yeah, but that's been said for years.
Yeah, but it may be said, but it's not. It's like okay, cool. But being a modern, a modern day Grand Slam champion in Impact or TNA as it was called then, where he won all the titles. He's also now a modern day Grand Slam champion in WWE. He's a 3-time WWE champion. I'm not gonna lie, there's no one in the world, I think, since what he's done at WrestleMania with Undertaker. He says that he wants to have a match with Triple H at WrestleMania. I'd love to see that happen as well.
It'd be interesting, yeah.
But AJ Styles is and will forever be the Shawn Michaels era was the Attitude Era and the DX. When Shawn Michaels left, from that till now, it's been AJ Styles and AJ Styles. And do you know what I find really telling to all those people talking about Aleister Black, talking about Buddy Murphy or anyone like that? You look how AJ Styles come in. Okay, he had a bit of a push where he was wrestling Jericho at Mania, lost. He didn't find his feet at all in WWE. And he said this in the first 6 months to a year. He struggled to adapt to the WWE style. Ever since he won that WWE Championship on SmackDown, when it first went to SmackDown over Dean Ambrose, I think it was, when he won it. Where he won it. It just shows if you work hard enough, you do better, you put your full 100% into it, you listen to Vince McMahon, you listen to creative, whatever they give you, you give it 100%, and you do it to the best of your ability. Look, AJ Styles has changed his moveset throughout WWE. Doesn't do the 450 anymore. The Styles Clash doesn't happen unless it has to happen for him to win it. It's one of those moves now where when it pulls out, he wins it. The Phenomenal Forearm is the winner. And I think everyone needs to watch AJ Styles and go, look at what he does.
I think, it's funny you say that as well. I remember when, AJ came in, and everyone was having this doubt that he was just going to be another TNA guy coming in trying to make a name for himself, and it was never going to work because Vince would never see him as that guy because, depending who you're asking, he's probably less than 5'7", 180 pounds on a good day maybe. I think it always amazed me like how people doubted him from the minute he came in. And AJ himself said that when he came in, he knew it wasn't going to be easy. It wasn't going to be, it was going to be a big challenge compared to everywhere else he'd been. But he said himself that Vince, I hate, I'm probably gonna get flack for saying this, but I kind of see where Vince was coming from when AJ came in, and he got the instant pop. Because Vince basically said, "That's just, that's easy though. People, anyone can get a pop like that.
Yeah,
anyone can get a pop like that. Even I can get a pop like that. Show me what's different from you from the rest, because all I'm seeing is what everyone else can do."
Mm-hmm.
And and I think I don't think people credit enough to Vince that, because I feel like Vince really pushed AJ to be a bit more out there basically, and really show his personality more, and really, because I don't know how well you remember AJ in TNA.
Yeah, but I remember it quite well.
Okay, that was fun. AJ in TNA wasn't exactly the best entertainer. He was a wrestler, but entertaining wise, he didn't want to talk.
He got better when they started doing the Ace and Eights. When they started doing the main event, that's when I started watching. I first started watching on and off when it was AJ, Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels doing a lot of the X Division stuff, and they weren't talking at all in TNA that much at all. It was all about that six-sided ring, who could do the best moves. Then Hulk Hogan and Bishop turned up, and they turned it to a four-sided, and then he was getting TV time, but he wasn't the main man in it. He wasn't the main thing in it. Then Kurt Angle turned up, and it changed. Completely changed for AJ when Kurt Angle turned up.
It's funny you say that as well. I remember when AJ, they paired him up with Ric Flair, because, Rick and everything. Rick was trying to basically make AJ into a second version of him with the suits and everything. And I think AJ did the best he could to make it work, but you just could tell it wasn't him.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to get at is that AJ, even good old Bruce Pritchard, everyone's favorite guy, he himself said that when he tried working with AJ, it was hard to get him out of his shell, basically, because he's a very private guy and it doesn't really like talking. And what I'm trying to get at is that everyone who worked with AJ in the past has said that he's a much more confident guy now than he was years ago. I don't think he's a great promo guy. I'll say that right now. He's good. There was a time when I couldn't stand him talking.
He gets his point across.
I'm saying there was a time I couldn't even stand him talking, to be honest.
Yeah.
His southern accent and everything.
When he was talking, I think the best thing that he ever did was go to New Japan. That's
really, what I'm gonna get to as well.
That got him to where he is now. He was great in TNA. TNA was great, but New Japan was different. It was completely.
It's actually sad. It's actually sad when you hear of the fallout they had with TNA. I don't know if you know about it, do you?
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, when his contract was coming up and Dixon Carter wanted to pay him less. He's like, why am I being paid less than everyone else? And it's
sad as well. It's sad as well when you remember he had three, four boys at the time, and I don't know if he was expecting. If he was expecting.
I think the girl, the last one, was due when he was there. I think.
I don't know, but I do know that AJ himself said he felt like he was insulted that they were offering him.
Mm,
I think that he went from getting six-figure salary to less than that. I don't
yeah.
remember. And I don't know how much Japan paid him because it must have been a pretty good deal. But yeah, it's sad that was the fallout he
I
had with
don't think
TNA.
it was as good as
Yeah.
a deal that TNA were offering, but they were offering more creative freedom, and they were offering him more stuff to get his name and his brand over.
Did that mean they paid for his travel then?
Yeah, I think that was the
Okay.
one thing that they did, was to get him out there, get him to do what they knew that he could do, and then work around him and with him to get there. That's when the Bullet Club happened with Gallows and Anderson, and then Omega. Then Balor was coming in,
Well,
or
yeah,
left when AJ turned up.
it was
And
literally around the same time.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, one went one go. But anyway, enough about AJ Styles. We could do a whole podcast,
Yeah.
I think, about AJ Styles.
Someday.
But before we get into one of my favorite matches, one that was very entertaining, the Gauntlet Women's Tag Team Championship #1 contenders match, where you had Lana and Naomi with Slippy Mandy Rose and Nip Slip
Oh.
Dana Brooke.
Hey, you leave her alone, all right? It wasn't her fault. It was raining, all right?
No. Mandy Rose was fine. Dana Rose, I think, needs to get a bigger gear. There was a lot of nipple I saw, and a lot more than
Really?
I expect.
I might need to
Yes.
rewatch now.
Then you got the Riot
For
Squad.
research.
Then you got, just research purposes. And then you got Tamina and Natalia for it. We're not going to get too much into this. I think that the winners were the ones that should have won. Shouldn't have won, but I was happy that it won. The Riot Squad, on the other hand, looked like an absolute machine of a tag team.
I think they did as well, but I feel like I told you this as well. I feel like in the little time Dana and Mandy had, they actually got to really show what they can do. Because they always, if you watch,
they showed a lot more than what they should have.
And I felt bad for them that they went out like that, but at the same time, I feel like there was a lot of things all over the place with good old Greg Hampton, getting saying the wrong team on and everything.
Well, it was all about making a mix-up, wasn't it? Good old Michael Cole. But we'll get into
Greg Hamilton.
Yeah, I know, but he also made a
a
massive tit
It
up.
was definitely. I think a lot of things all over the place. I don't know if it's because of the rain or
it was the rain. Let's blame the rain.
It's the rain, yeah.
Riot Squad really, really impressed me a lot. They look like an absolute team that could go forward, but I want to move on.
Go for it.
I want to talk about this.
Go for it.
Bad Bunny. I don't know if he does it that.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Bad Bunny. My God.
Can I just say when I saw this, I was like, I'm so gonna tweet a lot about this. Just watch.
Oh, I tell you, right. So I'm gonna try and describe my emotions when I watched it live. All right, so I saw
I got a lot to say.
and Miz come out, and I was like, "Yep, good. Looking forward to them." Their singing abilities, on the other hand, not good. But that was more of the entertainment side that I quite found. Damien Priest comes out with an excellent entrance. By the way, I don't know whether you knew this, but the reason why he wasn't on the Mania card to start off with was because he had a back injury.
I heard about that. Yeah,
and they didn't know if he was going to be cleared. And once he got cleared, he then got added to the Mania match, which was good. And then the entrance of Bad Bunny. With the 50 million Rosebuds bunnies coming down to the ring, dancing around. Him on top of a lorry, coming down with his music, with Booker T there at ringside, and going for it. Before we get into the match, because I know I'm going to go off on one of what I think. What did you make of... Okay, so... I've got so much to say about this match.
Mate, I'm on the same with you with this one because I saw all the good old smarty markies online. Oh, this is pointless. Oh, he's a celebrity. All this and that, and I was just like, you stupid idiots. I'll be fair. He surpassed even my expectations, but even I said it myself. I don't think they're just going to bring in someone without doing it right. You know what I mean?
Logan Paul. He did.
Oh, come on, we'll get into that one in a second.
But I went on the standards. I thought if he was going to be Not exactly the same because it's a different scenario. But I thought of like Snooki when she come in, did a few
Oh
moves,
god.
was everyone got a pop. Yeah, yay, Snooki, Jersey Shore, yay, all that. Doing all of that, and then she went up. I had a vibe of I didn't think that he would do
They should have brought JWoww in
much.
instead.
Yeah, I didn't think that he would do much, but I thought that he would do stuff for it. He come down to the ring, and do you know what really sold me was from the minute dot was we know when celebrities come in. Look at the debut of Ronda Rousey. Okay, you can class her a celebrity, class her as an athlete, whatever way you want to look at it.
The thing is,
She was stuck on that ringside for half the match till she come in and electrified everyone.
yeah.
What they did perfectly for this
Hmm.
match, perfectly, was they started him off. They got him in that ring and got him started. Completely different to what you see before. You don't ever see a celebrity start off the match and do it. And you could tell that there's something felt different as soon as the first move hit when he took down the Miz, and I went, oh, okay. And then he started doing arm drags, and I was like, okay. Then he started doing other things and then doing moves, and then went up to the top rope, jumped off, and I went, okay. Bad Bunny's like, he's getting to the Pat McAfee level of good. I think we both agreed, right? Before this match, we agreed the standard of celebrity was going to be by whoever was at the bottom, 90% of them. And then the top was, are you going to be at Pat McAfee's level? Because he was unbelievable. And I'll tell you what, I'm saying this now. We're not comparing celebrities to Pat McAfee no more. We're now comparing them to fucking Bad Bunny. The man, when he did the Falcon Arrow, he did the Falcon Arrow. And half of the wrestlers on Raw can't do that. And he did it. And half the wrestlers on AEW and NXT or anywhere else can't do what he did. And he did. And I'm standing there going, right, nothing can top this. Nothing can top what he did right now.
Mate.
And then he did the thing at the end. And I'm
the
like,
Canadian destroyer.
It's
Mate,
not even that move is banned in WWE. Can I just point this out? It is banned. The only way that this move could have happened if it was for Vince McMahon's approval. That's the only way that move would have happened.
Yeah, can I just say one thing? I've seen people online, and this is the part which makes me laugh. I've seen the people online, the guys who are basically, I don't want to say haters, but yeah, they're basically just trying to admit they're just hating. They can't take when they're wrong. I've seen them try to use the excuse that it's because of Morrison, it worked right. Oh, really? So you're telling me that a guy who's doing a move on another guy who's just flipping in the air, he's not going to have an accident and maybe even drop him on his head when he's doing that? Is that what you're trying to tell me? You're telling me there's no possibility
I think that person is correct, though. I think if there was any other wrestlers, that wouldn't have happened.
But you're not. Yeah, but if you're trusting somebody who's not even a professional wrestler to do it, that be. I'm trying to get.
There's no other wrestlers that would have done that if it for John Morrison was the only wrestler, in my humble opinion, for what the and as good as Bad Bunny was, right, and as good as Damien Priest was when he got that hot tag and come in and lit everything up when he come on, he made that a different level. And he has really sold me over the past few weeks of how good I think he can be. And I know that you loved him, but he has really sold me on it. And I'll tell you what, and I think there needs, and Triple H was right. And he tweeted it, and he made sure that he tweeted this, where he goes, as good as Bad Bunny was, we need to appreciate the Miz and Morrison for what they did. If it wasn't for Morrison, for me, is an absolute superstar. And for him to trust Bad Bunny, not only to be able to do that, but not only that, Morrison to sell it the way that he sold it was unbelievable. And I think them two deserve a lot more praise.
That's what I'm trying to get at. And I think the thing people forget is that in this business, it takes just one little mistake and everything can go wrong. You want an example? I give you D'Lo Brown and Droz. You know about that one, don't you?
It rings a bell.
Okay, so D'Lo Brown, he'd done this running powerbomb maneuver he'd done for years and years, experienced. One day he gets it wrong, and Droz had a bad landing, and he's paralyzed. Simple as.
Jesus.
So my point is and he's still a very respected guy because he never blamed D'Lo for it, and he's never blamed the company for it. He said it was just a bad day.
Yeah, and I think that we can all agree the level of celebrity matches now is, can you top what Bad Bunny did?
I feel like they've learned from their mistakes in the past, and they're trying to say now, okay, let's not make it so predictable. Let's not just make it all gimmicky and ho ha ha. Let's see what happens if we train this guy up
Well,
and see what we can pick up from our guys
you say
and see what he
gimmicky.
can do.
They did the normal thing with Logan Paul.
Okay, look, that's another argument. I didn't expect them to do a lot with Logan Paul to begin with.
No, I wasn't expecting anything with Logan Paul. But that's the type of celebrity gimmick that WWE like to do at Mania.
But I think that was fine as well for what it was, because they can still, the door is still open to do something with it.
I'm gonna ask you this question before we move
I'll
on
go
to
for
the
it.
final match of night one, because we've been talking night one for quite a
I
while.
didn't even get to say the bar one is there yet.
No. I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna let you
Alright.
explain it to where you think it. So what you feel, and then I want you to give me your answer.
Go on then.
What would you rate this match out of 10, and why?
Oh
There you go.
man.
That also helps with your explanation.
Okay, well, I'm just first of all, let me just also add that there was also some small things about Bunny which was also in a lot of respect when he wiped his feet before he came into the ring, and I can't remember what was he put his hand on the rope, wasn't it?
The tag rope. So there's
Tag
that
rope,
white rope that every tag team needs to hold on to, and he held on to it till he got tagged. And even the tag team greatness that is the Revival have said much respect for Bad Bunny for doing the
Mate,
little details like that.
it makes me laugh when I see people online still trying to look for shit to say. I'm just like, you got nothing to say. You're just making up excuses
You're
now for
just
the
trying
sake
to
of it.
find stuff, yeah.
Exactly. If you don't like his music, fair play. Guess what? I don't like half the crap you guys listen to. I don't make a big deal about it, do I? Anyways, long story short, I will rate it. It's hard to tell. I will say I might be a bit biased there because I pretty much liked everyone involved, and I think everyone did their part right. And aside from the slight little bit which worried me was when he landed on the in the mid rope.
Yeah, when they threw him. Yeah.
I was a bit about that bit, but I'm gonna assume everything's okay there anyway. I'll give it an. I'm thinking anything between 8 and 9 at least.
I'm going 10.
You're going full 10, are you?
One of the best celebrity matches that has ever happened in WWE, and I'm also giving it that it was better than half of the matches that you see. Stop doing what's it, Ty Dillinger, Sean Pierce, stuff. But and he as much as I think a lot of people were saying give him a developmental contract, I think it really showed that he did that just because he wanted to do that, and his love is for music. But he will come, and I think he will come back. And I saw a lot of things as well on Twitter, which I agree with. When I say at Survivor Series, I want to see team Bad Bunny versus Team McAfee at Survivor Series.
I'd love to see. I said it myself. As well as that, I said that if it was up to me, I'd sign to a contract right now. I'd give him a developmental contract and put him on NXT because they need that kind of star power right now.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting as well when you get praise of like Randy Orton and Mick Foley, and Randy Orton saying that you are now a fellow wrestler, a fellow WWE superstar. That for me solidifies how good that was. And how good
he's welcome. As far as I'm concerned, he's welcome back anytime he wants. He can
right
tomorrow, next week, if you want to.
We have to go on to this. The final match of night one, the most historical match, let's just say, in WrestleMania history. The first ever all black women's main event of WrestleMania. Not only that was the first main event, I think it was, that two women main evented in a singles match of WrestleMania. And
let me just also add, Michael Cole called it right as well. So a lot of people are saying as well, he announced the right way. They're glad he did that as well.
Yeah, and look, for me, I didn't comprehend how massive this was. Okay, because I'm fully white. All right, and I am, and I will say that 100%. I comprehended as this match was two women that deserved the spot for what they created as two people. Then I started listening and started reading and understanding what other people were saying, and it got more and more to a point where I felt sorry for Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair to a certain point because of the amount of attention this got for all reasons was how much pressure must they feel being under that? Look, Sasha Banks, I may not like her as a promo. As a person, I think the character's a bit wibbly wobbly, but as a wrestler, she's one of the best in the world, and I will say that Bianca Belair is very new, very raw, very much hasn't had the experience of what goes on. This is her first WrestleMania, and she's main eventing it. What has been going through both of their minds leading up to it? That was psychology wise and mental wise. This must have been a toll on both of these women. With you, what do you think? Do you think that? I think the match was excellent match. Excellent match. There's nothing wrong with this. The storytelling during that match was excellent.
Yeah, it's we said this before. The build up to it was crap.
It's poor. Fucking shit.
Exactly. But the thing is, I always said that they deliver it in the ring, and it's when they got to that part. You really like. This might just be myself speaking, but when you finally get to the ring, you kind of forget there was even supposed to be a storyline there, and you just think of the two women that are there.
I agree. I think that was the thing that got me was you forget the storyline, but you remember the magnitude and why this match is happening. And I think that's what got me.
You could see the emotion all over the face of both Sasha and Bianca as well.
Even before the match started. I agree.
Yeah.
What did you think of the match? I thought it was excellent.
I
thought the storytelling was very good.
I can only imagine what that would have been like in front of 70,000 people.
What did you think of the match? I think personally, I thought the match was very good. I don't know. Very good storytelling. It really.
I'm not gonna.
Sasha really played into Bianca's hands and helping her show off her strengths by far in that match, and she created and building to that hair whip was brilliant. And fuck me,
that whip.
That sound made me ill.
I do wonder whose idea that ever was to begin with.
Triple H was probably. He's a vicious twat.
And it's just like, how did he think? How did he know that would be that one? No, I'm trying to say. I do wonder whose idea it was to begin with.
Do you know what? It was quite funny because people were saying it was a legal hair whip, but Sasha was using that hair to pull, to reverse moves, to do stuff like that. And I think we knew that hair whip was going to happen.
Yeah,
but we didn't know how much it was going. And did you see the mark that it left?
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Jesus.
Right. I wonder what her and Montez get into the bedroom sometimes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't want to know.
Oh, come on, man, you can't be lying.
You're wronging.
Mate, I can't help it sometimes. Yes. I'm a guy.
You're a horny twat, basically.
You know what they say about once you go black.
Right, no, we're not talking. We'll stop. Right, anyway, get into the match because we've got to get to night two.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sorry, my mistake. Okay, so the match overall. Sorry, so the match. I think they did it the right way. Obviously, they have Sasha working as the heel that she is. Annoying as well. I feel that they had Bianca come in the right way, and she basically did the thing I expected to do, was to overpower Sasha and just show that I'm not that rookie you think I am. The EST, etc. Blah blah blah. And I feel that they did it the right way. They didn't make it look like a fluke victory. It wasn't a roll up because they could have done. They made it a nice clean victory, a nice clean win for her, and that was all that we needed. Simple as.
Yeah, no, I agree. So excellent night one. Brilliant wrestling, brilliant things. Everything was amazing about it. Let's get into night two. We kicked off with America the Beautiful again. So apparently America turned beautiful to ugly to beautiful again in the space of a day.
I like Bebe Rexha's version of it.
No, you just like what she was wearing.
No, I like the voice.
There was a lot of boobage what she was wearing.
I wasn't paying attention to that.
Oh, fuck off. Everyone was paying attention. Even I went, Jesus Christ.
Good thing your wife was in the room.
She was sat next to me when I was watching it. She goes to me, cool, they're perky. I went, I know, they're all staying in one place. Anyway, let's get into it. The Fiend versus Randy Orton kicked off WrestleMania, where it was anticipated for it to be one crazy show. It was entranced with the Fiend burn to them, got this magicalness that turned him into the old Fiend with the
Oh God.
with the vest, the vest on, and then he come out of the box after Alexa Bliss wound it up and he popped up. Do you know what I found quite good with storytelling of this? And I found, and I talk about the entrance, how amazing the entrance was she's been walking around Raw for the past few months or weeks, doing a box and spinning it around, going using that musical box, and then not popping open, and it popped open to "Let me in" with the Fiend. So I haven't done it yet. I needed to do it.
The thing is that I have a bit. The problem I have with it is that we've already seen the Fiend without the box. I just didn't get the point of having it come out of the box all of a sudden now.
It's different. It's fun.
But I will say I do think Jim Cornette, if you've ever heard about good old Corny, he's always criticizing the Fiend and saying it's all hokey shit and everything. I wonder what he would have said about coming out of a box. Seeing
he would have lost his mind. He'd go, "Oh, if that was Vince Russo, I'd blame Vince Russo for that. I'll piss on his grave."
No, he likes. I'm saying he likes the box. People coming out of boxes and stuff. So I wonder how he felt about that one. He still would have complained about it one way or another.
It's just by the way, Randy Orton in white trunks is like Thierry Henry wearing gloves. Wearing black gloves at the Highbury. You just knew shit was going to happen and you knew he was going to win. And whatever you did...
was very interesting analogy using it.
...was never going to stop it. It literally was like that. So I found it very, very interesting. It's weird seeing Randy Orton in white trunks. I was like,
I thought, is he trying to go vintage or something? Because I don't think I've ever seen him with white trunks for as long as I've seen him.
I think I was talking to someone on Twitter last night, and I don't think he's ever worn white trunks before. He's wore blue and he's wore red before, but we don't. And green, I think, was at one point as well. I think
probably, yeah.
But he's never worn white trunks. Okay, let's get into the match.
But why do you think he was wearing white to begin with? Was it just for the occasion, or
probably
just to be different?
Probably.
Okay, but
maybe being the light to the Fiend's darkness.
Probably.
Because that's what Shawn Michaels did, didn't he? Undertaker wore black, and Shawn Michaels come out in the white, like godly. I think in one of the WrestleMania matches that he had with him, he was coming out to the lightness to his dark.
I remember, yeah. I will say, what I liked in that match was that bit where the Fiend did that tribute to Brody Lee. Luke Harper. I thought I like the way he did it in character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have loved to have seen him.
There was a lot of tributes to Brody Lee. This is Clothesline by Cesaro. Same with Xavier Woods did the same thing as well.
I wish
to AJ Styles.
I do wish that Braun got to do something, because I know that Braun and him were good friends as well. That's maybe some other time, we never know.
Yeah, maybe do something like that. Okay, let's get into the match. I'm leaving this with you because I know that I'm gonna say something.
The thing is that I have to be honest with you. I had a bit of stream problem to begin with, so I only saw a bit of this and a bit of that. The thing which caught me off guard was the last minute of it, which is when he catches him with the Sister Abigail, wasn't it? He caught him with that, didn't he, first? Right?
I think so.
I can't remember that well.
I can't remember.
I remember he catches him with that. Then just before he does it, there's the fire that goes off. I thought it was something new for some reason.
I thought it was Kane. Oh my God, it's Kane!
I didn't think it was going to be Kane. I thought it was just going to be some new gimmick.
I just found it quite funny.
And obviously when you see Alexa coming out of the box, and I'm just like, okay, what's this? I mean, at first I was turned on as well, but all right, sorry. I see her coming out of the box, and she's doing her thing, and I think a part of me was thinking about because I know that they're doing that in NXT with Tian Sha and Xia Li and whatnot. I thought it kind of reminded me a bit of that, but then all of a sudden, we see her. That's the thing. Even I'm a bit lost on it as well, as which direction they're going to go with.
Okay, so I've had 24, not even 24 hours to work this out. The thing that annoyed me the most was Randy Orton did about 6 assisted DDTs on the rope. and the Fiend got up every single time.
Yeah.
Then one RKO kills the Fiend. So, right. So
Is the most
I thought about. I think I've thought about this more than probably what I should. So the only explanation I have for this is Alexa Bliss has now physically manifested. No, Alexa, I'm not talking to you. Alexa, stop. Alexa Bliss, not you.
Oh my
No,
God.
stop.
Is your Alexa actually responding to that? Is it?
He actually is, and that's why it's up. When Bliss, I'm just calling her that now instead of that going off. When she come out of the box and all this all of that, I think that what they're going to try and do is she's going to somehow manifest to now be Sister Abigail. She is the long lost, dead sister thing, the Bobby, to the Fiend that he hasn't seen and doing whatever. She is the Sister Abigail, which I could understand that that's going to shock the Fiend to him going, "Oh fuck, Sister Abigail, what the fuck you been? Okay, done." But
It's funny you say that. I'll say it's funny you say that because I remember they've always wanted to bring in a Sister Abigail character for years, but it just never quite fell through. So I think this might be their chance to maybe do something with it.
yeah,
It's been reported. That's what I'm saying. They've always wanted bringing that character to life. So
yeah, but there's been about a numerous amount of people that they thought would do it.
I think they wanted to Paige at one point.
Yeah, Paige, and then there was in TNA or Impact. There's Decay, her name is, and she was out of contract, and there was talk that they were trying to bring her in to be Sister Abigail. So yeah. So
I bet you did.
No, I actually did. Anyway, by the way, while I paused the recording, but while he was on the phone, I just started going through my Netflix because I've got stuff on here, and it was just
I'm
and
watching
I
the Queen's
singing
Gambit right now.
What is? No, I've watched it. I've watched that.
Not right now, but I'm on that right now.
I'm watching New Girl. It's actually quite fun.
I might start Sex and the City next.
Is that on Netflix? I thought that was on. Oh,
you can watch on Sky.
Yeah,
okay. I like the drama, I'd like the storytelling, I'd like to see, where Mr. Big goes.
Desperate Housewives is better. Anyway, so the Fiend coming. So the only way that I see why people are mad, and I get the Fiend is getting the rub of certain things, but what I will say is as well is people complaining about the Fiend not getting it. I don't think Bray Wyatt would put as much effort as what he's putting in if it wasn't his idea.
I'm laughing at people saying shit like, "Oh, you should just go to AEW." And what's he gonna do there? A cheaper version of his character?
No, he'll just go up and just go with Sting and just get fucking boring. So
yeah.
It's looking like there's a long term, and I said this before, and I spoke to you before we come on there, and there seems to be like a mass long term booking with the Fiend and Bray Wyatt, and it seems to be that it's a never ending story that I think is going to keep going on and on and on, to a point where, I don't know, he probably has a fight with himself. There was also talk as well that I've heard that they're going to try and bring Bo Dallas into the situation.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing that a lot as well. I'm just like, Bo doesn't have any ink for a star unless he's really changed over the years.
I also saw as well that it wasn't Bray Wyatt in the Fiend, it was Bo Dallas. That's why he lost and only took one RKO, was because of that. And I went, oh, you lot are really searching for something now, aren't you? But while he's on the phone going, hello, help desk, what we're going to be doing is going on to the next match. The Women's Tag Team Championship. Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler versus Natalya and Tamina for the Tag Team Championship.
I like the way you say it. Natalya. As if she's Russian now. What I was going to say was that I do feel, when it comes to Bray, I do feel bad for him when it comes to win-loss as well, because that's the thing, is they always seem to pick on him at Mania time and give him the big loss for some reason. And
Sasha Banks 0-6 at Mania.
Yeah, but like I do feel like they could have really made something out of Bray with the WrestleMania. I'm not saying they have to keep him undefeated for 100 years, but at least give him something we can brag about. Give him some kind of
I
power
think
to his.
the only thing that Bray Wyatt could brag about is how great his characters are and what he does
His
with them.
characters are great. I think I've said it myself. I remember when he was coming in, I was like, this is going to be something big. And I'm talking about when he was the Swamp, Priest.
Yeah,
And
I think in NXT was.
well, yeah.
He recruited Rowan and Harper.
Yes, yeah. I always felt like there was something there easily because there was. I feel I don't think they've. I was trying. What I'm trying to say is that we needed. I always said that we're not going to have Undertaker and Kane around for a long time now, for forever. So I feel like we need someone to take over that monster character, or at least someone that can give you that phenomenal, uh, that kind of aura stuff. Give that, because that's what was missing. And I've always felt like that Bray Wyatt would have been the perfect guy for it, but for some reason they just never seem to want to, give him the give him a booking which actually keeps him on a consistent win-loss record.
Mm.
And
It'd be interesting to see where they're going.
it gets to a point. It gets to a point where people are just like they even like you can talk all the shit you want basically, but we like for as far as your track record goes, you're most likely only going to lose this feud anyway, kind of thing. So we'll do it when you care.
Yeah, right. Let's move on. Tag team, women's tag team. I think everyone thought they were going to put new tag team champs with Tamina never winning a title in WWE. Probably one of the most deserving women to win a title that has never won it going into it. I'm not going to talk about this match too much because it
I
annoyed.
can't talk about too much either.
Yeah, it really annoyed me because
Only because
Natalia is meant to be. Let's be honest with each other. Everyone, she's meant to be this ring veteran, knows the ring, knows the square circle inside out, knows all the rules, knows how to win and knows how to bend them. But she can't work out that when Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax tag, that instead of going for Nia Jax, who isn't even legal for you to try and pin and put her in the sharpshooter, that even if she taps out, you're not going to win. So why are you putting her in the sharpshooter for her to now cost Tamina? The ending made it a bit, with it.
there's a reason why I say I can't talk too much about it because the stream messed up at that part, and I was just like, oh,
Yeah,
I don't know how the ending went.
So it annoyed me. Right, moving on to the next one.
But let me just say, no, hang on, come on, man. Let me just say, Tamina, I think got a great response from the crowd.
Deservedly so. Deservedly so as well.
As well.
Deservedly so, and as well, amazing to see. Next one, United States Championship match. The Bro Riddle, who has had an excellent weekend, shall we say? He's been meeting up with his favourites in Rob Van Dam. Sitting down on the bump with Rob Van Dam talking. He then met Rob Van Dam and the Great Khali in one of the weirdest promos backstage I have ever seen when Rob Van Dam gives him rolling paper. Fair enough. To then come out to the ring in a scooter so he doesn't fall over down the ramp, which was great. And then little birds flew off when he did his flip-flops.
Oh, God. You should hear the way Jim Cornette describes it. He says they're coming out of his ass.
Oh dear. Sheamus coming down. I thought that this was everything it needed to be and more. Riddle looked like a star, and I've tweeted this, and I will say this: that Riddle is going to be WWE champion at some point. He looked like a star. The way he did everything, the way he sold things, the way he took the beating, the way that he gave Sheamus it back as well at the same time. And it finished off with a Ricochet Adam Cole style finish. They got vibes of that. Sheamus has been there was. Do you know what I found as well? Is there was a botch that Sheamus could have hit a move, but could have if it went that didn't feel comfortable, and it could have severely hurt Riddle. So he protected Riddle to a point of doing something different.
Was on the top rope, right?
Yeah, the top rope white noise that he was going to do, but he sort of slipped. And he could have just gone into it and done the move, but he could have severely injured Riddle in the process. So he pulled out. And I tell you what, and we've agreed, we both said this, that Sheamus deserves a title after what he's done his best work
Oh
since he's
yeah,
been
yeah.
back in WWE. But both of them come out looking strong, and both of them look like absolute stars. And I don't think that's the end of the feud between them. And I'm excited to see where this goes because I really enjoyed that match.
The
And I
funny thing
really
is,
and I could see them doing a lot of different things, and they worked really well together in that ring. And I hope to see a little bit more of it.
the funny thing is, I remember when I messed up my tweet on that later on. You know,
Yeah, you fucked up, and I tried to point you out on it, and then you
Yeah,
started having a go at me.
but it's only because you've done that a few times. You know,
Yeah,
when I say
that's it.
something,
At 2 point, I do try and
start
wind you
through
up on
that.
Twitter. It's quite fun.
I'm just like, I was like, we've been fine for like the past 2 days. What now? What do I say? Are we doing this now?
And then I DM'd him going, by the way, you might want to look at the title you've done, and you've gone, oh yeah, dumbass. What did you think of that
Give me a
match?
break.
What was the highlights for you?
I think the thing I liked about it, other than it being hard hitting, was the finish. I just think the finish was, because we don't see anything like that very often.
No.
I mean, we've seen Shawn Michaels do a everyone remembers the Shawn Michaels super kick to Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, but that wasn't a backflip. That was just Shelton jumping.
No, but we haven't.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. I know what you
I'm
mean.
trying to say is that we don't see stuff like that very often. You know, anyone who's trusting the other guy to do that. You know.
No, I agree.
I think Sheamus. I don't know. Was Matt coughing blood as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. It looks like when he hit the bro kit, he cut his lip.
Oh, I thought he was cut. I thought he come on the throat. Okay, now it's fine. Yeah, I think this match really got to show what kind of a performer Sheamus can be, and I also think that Matt Riddle himself showing that he can work with the big any made guy put in front of him, and I think that's what they needed to see him do more of. What I will say, which I really want to say, is what I've tweeted as well, which is when who I'm talking about. Walter tweeted he was very impressed by that, and as soon as he said that, I was like, I know exactly what I want to see him face next. And exactly
I want to see Sheamus versus Walter. I'd love to see that. I also want to see Walter versus everyone. As I am now the massive fan of the Ring General, Walter.
I think I can just imagine the amount of beating Sheamus is going to take, and how much Walter's going to dish out, and how much Sheamus is going to dish back. They would literally tear each other apart. I think that's a match that has to happen now.
So congratulations on Sheamus for winning the US title. I'm going to go on to Logan Paul's night where he teamed up with Slightly, where he just sat in a chair and pulled faces at the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match. That was the match after the first two that were particularly poor, which needed to kick off WrestleMania in the next year. And let's be honest, you could put them in a garden and they could create probably one of the greatest matches you'll ever see.
I even tweeted that those two can never have a bad match.
No, I don't think they could.
But let me just say, because I don't think this has been said enough. I feel because I was actually tweeting. I was messaging another mate of mine as well who was watching Mania. We basically both agreed. Even he himself said that. I was saying, Logan Paul, the amount of heat he got, it's just like, and the way he played it off, like he obviously knows what he's doing, and that's what not a lot of people are saying. And I feel like they could actually make something out of that if they're smart enough to do it.
They knew, WWE knew that the person like Logan Paul coming in was going to get a bad reaction. And Logan Paul must have known when he was coming in that the type of character he is was not going to be endured by the WWE wrestling fans in a live crowd. So the way to combat that is to make them love Sami Zayn even more because everyone loved him. Apparently, according to some people as well, Sami Zayn got the biggest pop and Kevin Owens got the biggest pop when they come out of the whole of WrestleMania as well. Edge was first, and as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn was second. With that, and the way that they're going to treat him, and I think the match in total was an excellent storytelling, and I thought the way it was done and everything about it was.
What I want to talk about, I can talk about. We can always talk about them guys, but I want to really talk about is when we got to the last bit and we see. Logan Paul trying to, get the fans, riled up and trying to, raise KO's hand. And yeah, you could see the way he was by his gestures and the way he was, acting. He was trying to get the crowd more, against him because he was feeding off it. He's not an idiot. He
He
knows what he's
knows.
doing.
He's a very intelligent
A heel.
man.
My mate said it best. He's a heel.
Yeah.
He knows how to do it. And when he sold that stunner, I legitimately got Rock vibes out of that because he looked like he like put it this way. I think they can get something out of him as well. I think that
I think
he's
they
the
probably
next.
will do in the future.
I think they could easily get him at the PC and he'd learn from whoever's there, Gulak or Pierce and
Yeah,
etc. And
exactly.
he'd pick up.
It'd be interesting to see. Right, let's get into the next match. Big E versus. I've got to take headphones off for this. Ready? Apollo. For the IC title. Going into that, a great entrance by the Whale.
Why?
Whale. I'm old, so Whale. Entering Big E for the title
Because
match.
you're white, don't forget.
Yeah, and that as well. And Apollo Crews come down to the ring in. I love an Apollo Crews. I really enjoyed this match from start to finish. I don't understand what a Nigerian drum match is because they never use the drum. They use
I don't think anyone
kendo
did.
sticks, steel stairs, and a gong. So I don't really know what a Nigerian match is, but it's nice to know. The match was very, very good. Very intense, very quick, very fast, very power hungry. Both of them. I think we both can agree on it was a very good match with certain things. But I'm going to leave this to you, and I'm going to get you to explain this because I was a bit on and off with Raw when Raw Underground was going. And
Okay.
at the end, we have a new massive guy that has now helped someone win a title. Please explain the person who is with Apollo on there and tell me and inform everyone while I sit here.
I know you're making this up. I know you remember who Double Kato was.
No, I don't.
Raw.
I remember him turning up at the Greatest Royal Rumble. And he did a bit on that, but I'm not a big knowledge on him.
Okay, I'll be fair then. I'll be fair. Yeah, so he was obviously, his real name is Babatunde, and he's Nigerian Polish, who's been at the PC for some time.
He's Nigerian Polish.
Nigerian Polish, yeah.
Whoa, that is a very weird combination.
Yeah. He's been at the PC for some time. He was obviously he was at the Great Royal Rumble, and then we hadn't seen him for a bit. Then he was at Raw Underground. They renamed him Double Kato for some reason. Yeah, and then obviously he was supposed to feud with Braun Strowman, and by looks it was okay at one point. And obviously that was just a one program, and then he was off TV for a bit. So simply put it, we hadn't seen him for a bit, and the question was when he was going to be re-brought back in. And the thing which made me laugh the most was they tried making him out like we haven't seen him before.
I don't know why they did that.
I thought that was stupid, but I'm gonna assume that they're gonna explain it better on SmackDown because I'm sure they'll find a way to work around that. But that said, I'm glad to see that they're making use out of him, out of Dab, and I hope that this can they can actually build up a faction for Apollo Crews. I mean, I would have thought they would have gave him back those guards from the PC Denzel Dejournette, the other fella. But there's always an opportunity for that as well. So, but what I'm trying to say is that I feel like this is the way to build up Apollo Crews now. At this point.
Perfect. Right. Let's get into the next match.
And also, let me just add. I'm expecting to see in the future AJ Styles and Amos versus Apollo Crews and Dubba.
I'd love to see
this is a Raw Underground Union.
I'd love to see that. Let's get into the next match. One before the main event. This is her brutality. Rhea Ripley versus the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. Let's be honest, the live version of Rhea Ripley's entrance was good until the person started singing, and then it didn't really.
It was shy, mate.
You could also tell that she didn't spend much time writing the lyrics because I think that she said the same thing about 60 million times. But anyway, nice that
Mm.
I think that was an entrance of a champion. Good for Rhea to have a live performance to do it. Stand out a little bit different than what Bianca had, and so more legitimate coming out. She's currently a heel face.
Heel.
She's a fully fledged heel.
From what I've heard, yeah, they're trying to. Well, even she herself has said that she's not trying to be light right now, so that's pretty much heel to me.
Right. Okay. Against Asuka, who hasn't had the greatest reign due to booking, let's be honest, reasons, but she is probably one of the best women's wrestlers at the moment. And going into this match, it was very much, could Rhea overcome Asuka's dominance of champion? And I think this match was booked perfectly for Rhea and for Asuka as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the match that well myself, but I do know that like everyone was hoping that they're gonna do it right and give this moment as a chance to, use this opportunity as a chance to really make a new star, because everyone always seems to say that when they bring in stars into NXT from NXT, the main roster never always quite works out. And I think that Rhea, is the perfect person to show that you can make the jump and be that star.
Yeah.
And she did that. She had a star making performance and in the ring. I can't remember the match too much, but I do know that she definitely looked like a like a beast. She looked unstoppable.
Mhm.
And obviously Asuka got to do her thing as well. But I think it was that reversal she did into the Riptide.
Yeah, that was very good. I really like that.
I liked it. Yeah. So I'm just going to simply say I think this is the right way to use Rhea right now to make the title mean something on Raw. And if they want to bring in Becky Lynch or Ronda Rousey next at some point in the future to work with her, this is the way to do it. Build up some momentum to give her some big fish to fry.
You also murmurings. I'm hearing murmurings that Io Shirai will turn up tonight on Raw. I'm hearing murmurings. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's wrong. I'm just hearing. Could be wrong. She could turn up on NXT, but we don't know.
To that I say about bloody time then.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with her next. Rhea Ripley. It's great to see at the end of WrestleMania weekend, we've got Raquel Gonzalez, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. Three massive NXT stars, the main champions on all three brands, which I want to point out. And also, I tweeted this out. And I asked you to retweet it, so thank you very much. But I want to give you some stats about Rhea Ripley, which amaze me if my phone decides to actually want to fucking do something. You watermelon.
It makes me laugh is people always say that Vince likes his blondes and everything, and I'm just like, well, Rhea's blonde, so why should I anything to be worried about then?
So Rhea Ripley, right? So Rhea Ripley, where the fuck is the tweet? Here it is. It was NXT UK Women's Champion. She was NXT Women's Champion. She is now Raw Women's Champion. She is the first female wrestler to hold all three of those titles. She is also in my opinion, fast becoming one of the best female wrestlers of her generation, and she's 24.
Yeah. She came in, I think, when she was. I think when she came in, she was still 20. I think.
Yeah, she's been here a while.
Yeah.
Also, just want to say as well, WWE 2K22 is coming out this year, and if they don't fucking buck their ideas up and actually create a good game, I swear to God, 2K, I will come to America and I will find your headquarters and I will do the biggest dump that I can possibly imagine on there and I will personally find the person who has developed this game and shit in his face. Okay, I have paid 80 quid every 80, 90 quid every fucking year for the game that you're meant to be producing, that I'm meant to be enjoying, right? I still play it every so often. I quite enjoy playing it every so often. I play it still. Just once I get in the mood of doing things, I like to play it. Fucking still crashes. Every time I want to change my attire, fucking crashes.
Yeah.
Sort it out, you absolute fucking melts.
I've heard a lot about 2K messing up.
No. Do you know what the funniest thing is? 2K aren't the people that actually develop it, right? So 2K have a branch of wrestling part that they do. Their main development is NBA. So they have a separate part of it. I'll tell the fans why you go and nonce the fan. fans, people that listen, that got nothing else to do but to hear me fucking moan. Basically what you lot are. So they're a separate part. So they got rid of the current one. I can't remember who they were called, but Yarman, whatever they're called, who are now gone on and now are developing AEW's game. Who we know that I'm going to buy that because that's going to be a fucking good game if them lot are developing it. I'm going to buy that. But because they lost that, they literally made no effort. Same universe mode as the year before. No new cutscenes. The 2K creations was shit. The weird futuristic 4-layer DLCs that they did was fucking awful. Just create a good fucking game, put GM mode in so I can play online, get Goulam to play, and we can play GM mode, and I can fucking destroy him and show everyone why I will be the best GM in WWE history. Anyway, main event time. Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan versus the rated R Mr. Edge for the Universal Championship. I'm about to go for a pee because I can't hold it any longer, and I'm not going to pause the recording. So, Goulam, what I want you to do is I want you to explain to everyone why this was the best match in WrestleMania.
Okay.
Go.
Okay, yeah. So I think this was the best match going because, we were literally taking three of their top faces, in the company at this point. And yes, I did say Roman is the face because he is the top face. If you don't like that, stop watching our video. This, would have originally been, in my opinion, better if it was just, Roman versus Edge. But I think Daniel Bryan added the extra, the extra little layer to it, which, not only protected Roman, but could also protect Edge to some extent because Edge doesn't necessarily have to overwork in the match, and Bryan can be the guy who takes a beating, etc., and then Edge just comes in and does his thing while recovering, etc. So I feel that was a smart move. What the?
Carry on. It takes you about 20 minutes to try and get down. Carry on.
What are you doing? Are you in the loo or something?
I'll tell you what, that was the biggest piss I've done in a very long time.
I swear you're gone for like less than 10 seconds.
No, that was... I actually stood there and went, fucking hell, any longer? Anyway, carry on.
Oh my days. Hope you wash your hands. Yeah, anyway. So, as I was saying, you didn't wash your hands, did you?
I did.
Okay, no, that's fine.
I've got a hand sanitizer thing in the bathroom I used.
Anyway. Yeah, so, yeah, I was
used
saying that... Sorry, repeat that again, sorry.
Nothing, carry on. Carry on.
That better be nothing.
Love you.
Okay. Okay. Let me just find my calmness. Yeah.
Hurry up. I'm waiting to find out what you're doing. I want to end the recording at some point. People have been listening to this for over a fucking hour. I've got to watch, by the way, I'm releasing this Monday, and it's probably coming out about 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night for everyone watching it. But I'm recording it, I'm releasing it late, so I don't have to do anything tomorrow. And that's why it's coming out.
Well, the way I see it, that's their problem. Next question. So, yeah, as I was saying...
Are you explaining why Ed should have been world champion?
No.
Bastard.
What I was going to say was that it was the right way to do it, and it was the smart way to keep, the interest there, because people would have assumed straight away that the title was going to be changing hands. When you have three guys involved, it kind of has the extra balance of this guy might win it.
It's also when you've got three people involved, it's easy to drop the title to someone else than doing it in a single match. That's
also easier to assume, but basically it takes away the prediction.
Exactly. So in my opinion of the match, I thought this was an excellent match from start to finish. I thought the way they built this match up all the way through, the way that Edge felt different in this match. He felt more violent than when he was going. Daniel Bryan used that heart, used that soul, used that what Daniel Bryan is great at. To do that, but then he added a little bit of layer of dragging the referee out of the ring, which then added a layer to him of that he will do anything he can to win this match as well at the same time. And then you got Roman Reigns, and let's be honest, he is one of the best heels, and you could tell when we had Daniel Bryan in the powerbomb position, and the fans were going nuts at him, booing him, and you could tell he loved it. He could tell that his character loved that.
Mate, I've been waiting to see how he plays off heel heat, and he did just that. And the thing is, it's making me laugh online how people are trying to act like they didn't, like he's not getting the right heat. He's getting heat.
Yeah.
He's getting heat either way.
Doesn't matter what kind of heat he's getting it.
If you like a heel, if you find any reason to cheer a heel, then they're not doing the job right. Simple as.
It's like with Roman Reigns. I don't like him, but I respect that he won it. I wanted Edge to win because of more the nostalgia thing of doing it. I wanted him. He never lost the title that he had to drop because of retirement, and I was hoping he would win that. But the clever booking and the right way of finishing that match was for Roman Reigns to retain.
And I like the way he did it when it was that he pinned both of them at the same time, because it really shows that he's like, I don't know. I all of a sudden I got those. You seen Game of Thrones, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got all of a sudden, for some reason, Khal Drogo vibes from that.
Yeah,
it's just like he just probably like just killed the guys and just stacked them on top of him. Just like
it's interesting. It's interesting now where they go from here, but I think that was one of the best main event title matches that we've seen in a long time.
I think the only downside I'll say about it was we didn't get any new theme song from him. That's the only thing which I thought was a bit
well.
But we'll have to wait. I'm sure it'll come at some point.
Yeah, let's just hope that the new people don't do it because they're fucking shit at doing theme songs. Anyway, okay, so one final question before we end this podcast. Out of both of the nights, I think we both agree night one was way better than night two. But we enjoyed WrestleMania in total.
Yeah.
With WrestleMania, out of 10, what would you give both nights combined?
So you're saying combining night one and night two, yeah?
Yeah. What would you? So how much did you love WrestleMania? Love, like, great, not like it, shit, whatever. And what would you have rated it out of 10?
Overall, when you put them both together, I'd still give it. If you would just said night one, I would have said 10 straight. Because you're bringing night two into it as well, I will say that because the night two, it kind of drops a little bit between 8. Now I'll still put it in the 9 range.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. Exactly what I thought.
Because I think it's just because night two just had, I don't know if it's because night one had so many, they already set the bar up, and it's just that night two couldn't live up to it. But it was also just that I think there was some, some of what happened, some of the matches just didn't really add up and didn't make a lot of sense. So I think that I was more confused in night two than I was in night one. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with exactly that. Night, more than one than the other, but WrestleMania, no matter what it is, I think you enjoy it for it. And I'll tell you what. Okay, so one person that impressed you the most out of both nights, and one person that disappointed you the most out of both nights.
Well, first person that comes to my mind when it comes to, you're talking about for both nights or just one night?
Both.
So night one, without even thinking, Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Night two, I will say, I can't really say Logan Paul because he only did like one thing. So I'm not going to say him, although he wasn't bad himself. Night two, I can't really think of who really impressed me. That's the thing. I mean, obviously Roman, got the great, got a great heel great response from the crowd. So I'll just say Roman, only because that was like the one guy I think that really got, because people have been wondering for a year what kind of reaction you get, and I think he got a very loud reaction from the crowd, and he really played it off well the way he needed to. So yeah, that's my answer.
Perfect. Right, that's it. That's the end.
What about you?
Bad Bunny, both nights impressed me more than anyone. Impressed me the most.
Okay, no, that's fine.
The one that disappointed me the most.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say that. I would say that what disappointed me in night two was probably the Fiend's match.
Yeah.
And night one, I don't really think I had any disappointment. That's the thing.
I think the first two matches of night two are a real massive disappointment. The women's tag team and the Fiend was a massive disappointment.
That's the thing. That's the thing I'm trying to say is I think it was really night two that really just kind of, I don't want to say, but I don't want to say this, but they basically did shit the bed on night two a little bit for a lot of things.
Yeah, so that's it. Thank you guys ever so much for joining us for our WrestleMania review. We will be back next week to talk all things Raw after Mania, NXT on Tuesday nights, Friday night SmackDown, plus any news that goes on around as well. And then the week after, we will most probably not do that many news or any catch-ups unless something massive happens that we will do. And we will do our WrestleMania 38 fantasy booking. I will send Gulam what he wants to do, and he can write it down and do whatever. It will be a 2-night event, so you have to do the main event for night 1 and night 2 and book it up as well. So, well, we will do that and go from there. Thank you guys ever so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed WrestleMania week. Thank you for everyone that has tuned in, listened, watched to our podcasts over the past week. We've given you 4 over the past week. We have had an extremely grateful, thankful week. You guys have been awesome. We've got a lot more to come on this channel as well, with not only just wrestling, plus other things as well. Not only are we're going to try and do a lot more different things with the wrestling one as well, but we're also going to be doing a lot of massive different things with everything else. But thank you guys ever so much for joining us. We know that there's not a lot of you, but you take your time out of your day, some of you, to come and listen to us, and that means more to me than anything else. So thank you ever so much. Thank you, Gulam, for being here for the past week, and thank you for being here for the whole of when we started doing this podcast and everything. I'm tired. I'm emotional now. I just want to say thank you. You are the reason why I carry on doing this weekly for the wrestling podcast, for doing it. And it's great to catch up with you as well, to get back and to get in touch with you again and doing all of that. So thank you. And we will see you guys next week. And we will carry on our journey to the next WrestleMania. And hopefully, by the next WrestleMania, it'll be announced that there will be a WrestleMania in England, or a Royal Rumble in England, or a SummerSlam.
I know that Drew McIntyre said he wants to get that done sometime. So you never know.
Give us something.
I don't know why they missed out on the opportunity a few times.
Because
I feel
they're
like
pussies. They know that we have a better crowd than the US. We have better fans, and they're too scared that we will outdo them. And WWE will have to move from Stamford to London, Reading. Actually, they could come to Reading and live here, and work here, and create here. Anyway, enough of my bullshit. And we will see you guys ever so much when we see you. Bye.